There's a lot of anecdotal advice around on improving your marriage. But if you want something you can really use that will actually make a difference and reignite your marriage, check out the link in the description below.
The question, after cheating on my husband again and again, what should I do now? Answer by Billy Burton. Do not tell him. Just leave. Telling him is cruel and just another power play. Pluck your head from your filthy vagina and consider his feelings. You can go on doing what you do after you leave, but telling him is insult to injury. It sounds like you need a man that will treat you like shit, rough you up a little. You don't have the makings of someone who is capable of a symbiotic, healthy relationship. Backstory: I worked with a very kind, extremely intelligent man who had a wife like you. She told him of her affairs and said she was polyamorous. First time I heard the term, this destroyed him emotionally. I mean, it fucked him up so bad that she was able to move one of her boyfriends into their home. He slept on one side of the house, while his wife and her boyfriend lived on the other, and he was the only one who had a job. I was a contractor doing a lab renovation job for the company he worked for. You know the sparking paint that's used to line highways? That's what they make. He ran the lab, and I'm sure that his knowing I would only be around for a few months is why he felt comfortable telling me this. He was a computer expert and a chemist. She destroyed an extremely intelligent man who saw no way out. But do not tell your husband. Just get the fuck out. That is the very least you can do for him. This was about 18 years ago and I think about him often, but this is the first time I've ever told this story. I hope he found some peace. Answer by Jenny Weinheimer. Own it. You obviously have a hard time with monogamy. Own up to him and tell him while you'd love to. You're not going to change, because you haven't. Most likely he'll leave. But don't get into a monogamous relationship again. Our society may frown on having multiple partners, but slowly that is changing. Embrace who you are. If you have needs that can be met by one person, then state that from the start in your future relationships, or if your husband is willing, in keeping your current relationship. Answer by Julia Reese. Because you've made a public comment that potentially thousands of people will read, I imagine you are seeking not only an answer to your question, but also a large audience for your lurid confession of infidelity. One is tempted to answer your question by simply saying, since you've cheated on your husband again and again, what you should do now, and likely would do now, is just repeat your behavior and keep on cheating. You haven't shown the slightest bit of remorse, so why should we expect you to change your behavior anytime soon? I would go as far as to say that this may be your default behavior with anyone you are with. You're a cheater and you haven't shown any remorse for being one, so your next move is likely to be more of the same. However, if you are feeling that your path in life is likely to end in a series of failed relationships and marriages, which I believe it is, then you might want to get some professional help so you understand the emotional destruction you are causing everyone who gets close to you. You may in fact be the type of person who should never marry anyone. Your current resume as a multiple cheater disqualifies you for any healthy relationship apart from one in which both you and your future partners agree in advance that cheating is okay for both husband and wife. Some people flourish when they have multiple sex partners. Some even want to have sex with someone new every week, if not every single night of the week. Indeed, you may be such a person yourself. There are therapists who work with sexual addictions. The fairest thing for you to do, given that you've cheated on your husband multiple times, is to tell him about it so he can take the appropriate action and divorce you as soon as possible. Be fair to your husband and give him a freedom to find someone who believes in monogamy, because clearly you do not.